Hey, hello everyone. This is the BOBC Business Sip, and I'm Lizzie.
Hi family, Tiffany Wright, founder of Black Owned in Berkeley County. We are a support business network for minority-led businesses within the Panhandle.
All right, Tiffany, since you decided to be all formal, let me get off of my fun time. And instead of telling everybody I'm Lizzie, I am Elizabeth Ann Greer, and I am the owner of The Dandiest Life, LLC. I am also the founder of Different is Dandy, which is a nonprofit in the Eastern Panhandle, and we are excited to bring you, and I'm so excited I get to repeat this. This is the BOBC Business Sip. All right? So what's happening tonight?
Yes.
Good.
Excited for our first interview. We are super excited to sit here and have our interview with Darrick Bowens.
All right. I'm excited. I mean, if y'all couldn't already tell, this is Darrick.
What's up, family?
Darrick's phenomenal.
Yes.
Darrick's phenomenal. I mean, I get to tell y'all a lot more about Darrick, but I'm just going to give y'all a snippet by saying that I got to meet Darrick about 2 years ago and start this whole experience of knowing who he was through a mentorship program. How dope is that? He's a leader in the community, a fantastic business owner, and a member of BOBC, and a go-to for Tiffany and I in the business community. So, do you want to get started with the icebreaker?
Yes, I do.
Right.
So, Darrick, first off, I want to thank you for your service to our country, serving in the United States Army.
Cool.
And one question that I want to know is, how was your time in Alaska?
Wow. So Alaska, for anyone who has done a tour in Alaska, you already know it's mandatory. For many cases, it's 3 years.
Okay.
So it's a 3-year tour. Had never been since the Pacific Northwest, let alone in Alaska, right? So you go through that situation where you're trying to navigate and understand, because you hear so many things about igloos and 24 hours darkness in the wintertime and those kind of things. Some of it's true, some of it's false. Okay. But just understanding the climate, how to navigate and understand that to be able to live day to day, but also knowing that you have to adjust to that. One of the mottos that the Army likes to use is adjust and overcome. So you always try to adjust to the outcome, to a situation, and overcome that situation. So Alaska, like anything else, for me, I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't do any of the outdoor stuff. So for them to send me to Alaska for 3 years, I thought was punishment at first, right? But knowing you wearing the uniform, you got to give to your country, you got to do what you're supposed to do. But ultimately, after 3 years and adjusting to that, I grew to love Alaska. So.
Okay, what is false? I'm curious. What's the true and what's the false?
So when people say it's dark for 24 hours a day during the winter, it's not 24 hours. It's closer to 18 hours.
Oh wow!
It's just about 6 hours different.
But there is, and that's probably 95% of the state.
Okay.
There is an area of the state kind of over this mountain ranges, kind of northwest of the state, where it is dark for like 3 months at a time.
Oh, okay.
So it is true only for a small portion of the state. Most of the other parts of the state is 18 hours of darkness in the winter and 18 hours of sunlight in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Tiffany, I think you took a icebreaker literally because it's winter time here, and then you decided to ask him about Alaska.
And you know what's funny? What's funny is anytime I think it's cold here, like we've gotten some cold days recently with the snow, I always think back to Alaska and think, it's not really that cold here. Until you get into minus 30-degree weather, nothing's ever
Wait. You was in minus 30?
Minus 30.
No, minus 30.
Okay, so who paid for that parking?
In January.
In January?
In January.
Ooh, okay.
For 5 days.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Army supplies you with the fur?
Oh yeah, they did. Heaters and everything.
Yeah. I can just imagine everybody like trying to line up in formation and then turning into icicles, right?
So what you can do, I've always heard this thing, right? If you take some water and you throw it in the air, right?
Yeah.
It would freeze before it hits the ground. When it gets cold enough.
Yeah.
I tried that in Alaska. So I took a cup of water. No, this wouldn't freeze, but I took a cup of water, threw it in the air, and it crystallized before it hits the ground. It was so cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's literally
Alaska,
like a cloud.
Alaska was fun.
Alaska was fun.
So BOBC group trip. I'm trying to see Alaska. Are you?
Ugh.
He can be our tour guide.
Listen now, I'll wait.
If you go in the
Wish
summer,
you well.
if you go in the summer, the temperature range between like 72 and 82 degrees.
Really?
Depending on where you are in the state. So it's not bad.
I don't know, Liz. Something to think about.
There you go.
Yeah, the 82 is a no for me, dog. So maybe spring.
Maybe spring.
Maybe spring. We'll
Yeah.
split the difference.
Well, Alaska only has winter and spring, so that's all you get.
Wow.
So wait, you're talking about an 82-degree spring? That's a bit hot.
Yeah.
Only because it only lasts like a month.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't last long.
so it's winter 11 months out the year?
Probably 9 months already.
9.
Wow.
You would think I know this. I was a science teacher,
Yeah.
but that's a different conversation
It's
for
a
another
different
day.
day.
Okay. So that was a great icebreaker in my opinion. Or did you have more?
No.
Okay.
I'm just was really curious about its time in Alaska.
Yeah,
And
I love
thank
it. We broke the ice with that one. Okay.
Literally.
I love it. Okay, so before we really dig into the who and like epicness of who Darrick is, let's talk about drinks tonight because this is the BOBC, business tip. We gotta dive in.
That's
So
right.
Tiff, Darrick, tell me about what you're drinking tonight. What are you indulging in?
I am drinking Raekwon the Chef from Wu-Tang Clan. His wine, yes, right. Cash rules everything around me. Licata.
Okay,
I'm enjoying
okay.
some Licata.
So I'm more of a bourbon connoisseur. So what
All
I'm
right.
sipping on is a brand called Penelope.
Ooh.
Penelope, but they do a toasted version of it. So
Okay.
literally what they do is the barrel, they singe the inside of the barrel with a flame, and before they put the bourbon in, and then let it age
Okay.
over a couple of years.
Yeah.
Right? So it has a very distinct and different kind of flavor to it. I should have brought my bottle, but anyway.
Okay.
I'm here for it. I'm here for both of those. Those seem like lovely situations. But everyone knows I'm in this healing stage of life, right?
Yes.
Because as I shared before, November was a little tough month. I was sideswiped. And this is what I'm drinking tonight. So, smart water, because your girl got a concussion, and
Yes.
I need to get my alkaline on, as doctors say, we like, RIP shit with us. So 9.5, because I'm aiming for a 10.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. That's
I'm actually
right.
trying to be off the Richter scale, but that's a situation for another day. But yes, I am trying to be educated and smart in the business sense.
Yeah.
Hence why we're here.
Absolutely.
The king of tech. Okay,
King of
king of tech.
That's right.
Mr. Darrick. All right. So, I appreciate you all for sharing this time and space with me. Time is a resource. And so I don't take this for granted. So thanks, Tiffany, first of all, for letting me be your co-host.
Absolutely.
Thanks
I
for
wouldn't
letting
have.
me be the first official
Absolutely.
guest. You know what I mean?
Yes, we want to thank you. So, this is a part of our Blackout sponsorship package. We are so proud that Darrick was one of our first gold sponsors. And, we just want to always promote our members. And Darrick Bowens is our trusted tax advisor for BOBC. So we can't thank you enough for joining us this evening.
I mean, my pleasure. And when you reached out to me about sponsorship and the different levels, I figured, why not for the first one go all out, right? So,
Absolutely.
again,
And we thank you so much.
Yes, I second that. Like, I thought it was pretty dope. I was like, yo, my mentor did that. Yes, honey, yes. That's my mentor. Like, I was getting hyped off of something. This was significant. This was not a small thing that what he did. It was the first time, like, history was made, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And so, but I be like, y'all, that's my mentor, and all the things. And so, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm big into black on this, black on that, black on watch, black on everything. But so, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So, you ready for this next?
Yes.
Let's get into it. Let's get into all things Darrick. Okay.
Yes.
The tax man.
Yes.
So, how did you get into tax services? Like, I have a lot of friends who love money, who love helping people get money. But a lot of people don't know how to retain money, to invest in money, to put their money in the right places so money can continue to grow and do what it needs to do, and so that people also don't get the calls from the IRS and end up in the pokey, right? So, like, to be a tax professional is also, because if y'all don't know, I'm working on my doctorate in communicating and counseling. To be a tax professional is much like becoming a lawyer, is much like becoming one of the tougher fields in the medical industry. It is one where they say can cause a lot of personal, emotional, and mental harm.
Yes,
so what made you want to go into this field, and how have you been able to navigate it with?
So initially, it's two parts to that story. So initially, growing up, my mom, who works in accounts payable for the federal government, right? But years ago, and she's still, it's funny, I was at my parents' house the other day, my mother still balances her checkbook at the end of the month.
Wow.
Like literally 2 weeks ago, she was still doing the same thing. Wow. I saw her doing that growing up. So first Sunday of the month, you couldn't use the kitchen table because she had every bill and everything on the table where she was trying to figure out where that last penny was so she can balance her checkbook every single month. So seeing that growing up, I knew the importance of money, bank reconciliation, all those things that come with accounting. So then fast forward a few years later in Alaska, right? Because I used to do my own taxes when I was younger.
Wow.
So I didn't go into the military until about age 24. I was a little older.
Wow.
So getting to Alaska, I ended up, because I was in a new environment, a different state, I didn't want to do my own taxes. So I went to, in JAG, in legal, they typically have a company that you can go get your taxes done for free if you're active duty. And got my taxes done that year. I remember received $800 refund that the IRS came and got back from me a year later because my taxes were done incorrectly.
Wow.
So they said, "Oh, we need that $800 back."
Yeah.
I've been doing my own taxes ever since.
Really? Wow.
So I've been doing my own taxes for me and my family since I was about 22 years old. So, that's where it all started for me.
That's dope. That's dope.
And so to the second part of your question, to navigate that is obviously, ended up going to school, majoring in business as undergrad, and my master's is in finance management. But taxes was always a thing I always did, and being able to incorporate the tax laws with being able to manage money at the same time, it was just kind of a marriage that was supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So. And then eventually, knowing I wanted to start my business, and over time, taking that leap of faith, right, and doing it, and just say, okay, I'm going to start a tax and accounting firm at some point in my life, and then that's kind of where everything kind of took off. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
What do you tell the person that is afraid of the tax man or the accountant or the IRS? Within our demographic of people, a lot of people don't want to go or do not trust accountants.
I think people don't trust accountants when they've heard a bunch of celebrity stories, right?
Okay.
We've heard them all. I'm not going to say any names, but we've heard those where, my accountant was supposed to pay this and they didn't, and the IRS said, well, the onus is on you. What I aim to do and what I thrive and like to do is educate my clients. So if you come to me for a consultation or your first appointment, the one thing we're going to talk about is education, right? The things you need to understand and know. When we prepare your tax return, we're going to walk through every line item. So you're going to know where all these numbers are coming from. Because there's so many numbers on the tax return, they're like, I don't know. I just know what the outcome says. Either I owe or I'm getting a refund. But if I walk you through every line item on that tax return and educate you in the process, people love that aspect of it because this never happened to them before. So when they're educated enough and they understand that faith and what you're doing, comes to light. So.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about your software that you just developed?
Yes. It was funny because, a couple of years ago, I thought about kind of having a branded software, right? And I was trying to figure out a way. It really was to help out clientele, right? Because you hear about the other tax softwares out there where it's almost free to do the tax return. But there's other software that costs me thousands of dollars, right? Or to e-file a tax return could cost you, the client, $125 just to e-file it because it's different wire transfer fees that come into that. So what I wanted to do is create a software where I can create and manipulate the fees on my own. Right. So with the tax software, it allows us to do your tax return, but also keep your fees. Because a lot of people, the question is, can I pay you through my refund? And the answer is yes. But if those fees are $150, who wants to do that? Because now my fees on top of sort of preparation fees, and then you add the service fee on top of it, I'm no longer competitive in pricing, right? So my thing was, okay, my fees are flat rates, but if I can charge you 15% of what the other companies are charging you, so I can charge you as little as $50. One is going to save you a lot of money, right? And the education, the service, and everything is the same. That means you don't have to go anywhere else to get the same level of service, and it's going to save you money, and it makes me a competitive business owner.
That's amazing. I think that really helps small business owners and just individuals in general, because they go out here, they go to the big billboard having companies and corporations, and they know they can expect a large return, and then they end up getting a very small return, and then they go back and look at their receipt or their bill, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this is what was going to happen.
So I paid you $250, but I paid $150, and then so that's $400. It's like, oh my god. So now I can say $250 plus $50. I'm saving you $125.
And that's huge. Yes. That's a water bill, a light bill.
Right. Yes.
Like, that's extortion at the grocery store. Yeah, like bump the light bill. Can I go buy my baby some diapers? Yeah.
So
that's huge.
Especially and people still have the option of paying me directly. Like they have the option of just writing me a check or paying the invoice for the fees itself, for the service fees, or the preparation fees. But for people who say, look, if I get back a couple of $1,000s, I'm going to be able to pay you for my refund. And it gives them the opportunity to do that and not pay as much money.
Okay. Since we are moving into tax season, and this is an organization full of small businesses, what is your number one tip for the business owner who has a small but pseudo sparking business, and they didn't do everything? They weren't trying to scam anybody last year, like the government, I'm trying to say, But what's your number one business? Get it together now. So when you go to file, I need to know this as your tax person. I want you to have this when you come see me.
The biggest thing is many small business owners don't see the value in bookkeeping. Now, it's not directly taxes, but it benefits. It's part of the tax preparation process. So if you come to me with a bag of receipts, right, and you haven't done anything throughout the year, and so here's my receipts, then I have to figure out what's revenue, what's expenses, how to categorize these receipts, right? So I already know you don't know where your money's coming and going, and then I have to produce something, then do the tax return. So if you're managing your bookkeeping, and all you have to do is come to me with your profit and loss statement, right, which is half the battle. That means one, you're on top of money coming in, money going out. And you see the value in making sure this is done properly from day one. And then when I see the information, I can help guide you with that information financially, whether it's tax preparation, and then we get into tax planning to help you figure out how to save, different strategies to implement, right, to help you save on taxes, and then take that savings and funnel it back into your business's cash flow to help you then grow your business. So the biggest thing is this bookkeeping. People don't see the value in it because it's a cost, something they have to pay for. But I would say get a platform and take care of your bookkeeping day one. But then at the time you have to progress and do other things, if you need a loan, the bank is going to ask for your profit and loss statement and your bank statement. And your tax return. So if your bank statement is not, things are not prepared, people have come to me 2 years after they started the business and I'm trying to get this loan, they want my profit and loss statement. Okay, we need to go back to January 1, 2022 and bring everything current. You know how much money that's going to cost you?
A lot.
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
If you've been doing it from month to month, it wouldn't cost you anything.
What would you tell the new business owner or entrepreneur? What bookkeeping platform would you suggest for someone to start or crawl before they walk?
Yeah, I mean, I've used QuickBooks.
QuickBooks,
Many
okay.
clients use QuickBooks. It's another one. There's a few others out there. I've only used one other because a client of mine had it and he wanted me to help him. I think it was called Wave.
Okay.
And that was a cheaper version of QuickBooks, but it was so convoluted it was hard to navigate it for me.
Okay.
And QuickBooks has different packages. You can do the bare bones, like $15 a month.
Okay.
Right, to get everything started until you progress to the higher, like the premium package, which is like $90 a month.
Okay.
But also, if you have QuickBooks and I'm sure many other platforms could be the same way, but you're able to integrate your bank account with QuickBooks, so all the transactions feed into QuickBooks. You're also able to give me access to your QuickBooks because I have an account. I can use my login information to then get into your just to see your information and make sure everything is done properly. So it allows you to function and do things and connect with your accountant and have things in place. So I've always used QuickBooks for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
And I think that's especially if they're making like active sales, like a lot of sales all the time. If they're more like contractors and stuff, or any business owner, I always tell them link up with your state's like Small Business Development Authority, like at the state level, because they come with a coach, and these coaches are with you for your life. And if you get a good one, they will give you access to templates. Like he was a great one. He gave me access to things, and then I got a state level one because of a competition I was in, right?
Yes.
And then they give you access to things that you could only dream of, right? And from all of that, I've gotten all these beautiful opportunities just because I was willing to say yes and explore a different way of doing something instead of, because I couldn't figure out how to do it the old way I was doing it because it wasn't in me the old way. Well, he was like, we'll try it like this and see if this works for you, and then build it out from there.
Join this organization.
Yeah.
So if you gotta drive to Winchester, drive to Winchester.
Yeah.
I know it's a little ways away, but it may be a different avenue and a different group of people you're gonna meet, and you just never know what happens.
And I did. I went to a different society meeting one night. It was random, and it worked out. I met new people, and so I appreciate that and being open. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so glad that BOBC, just listening to this, that the network that we organically started from the grassroots, from the ground up, that we're making these connections and people are working together and, just uplifting one another and supporting one another. I mean, I'm just listening to the both of you speaking. Y'all met at a BOBC meeting, correct? Yeah, so that's what we're all about with BOBC. That's why I formed that network. I saw and witnessed a need for Black and minority-led businesses, or just businesses in general. We welcome the community, but it is really important to network and support one another. Extend your hand back, and help one another and uplift and share information. That's part of our core values with support, share, and advocate for one another. So, Darrick, I am so thankful for you, your continued support of BOBC. Elizabeth, I'm so thankful for your continued support of BOBC. I'm just really happy that you are the board advisor for Black owned in Berkeley County, and I just want to thank you both.
Thank you. It's my honor and pleasure. Do you have any events?
So, I don't. Well, it's tax season, so my events happen Monday through Saturday.
Every day.
From 9 to
Every day.
9, right? So, and Sunday is typically nothing. But no, I mean, I don't have anything in particular coming up because it's tax season. But we recently did the boot camp a few months ago for BOBC.
That's awesome.
You know what I do now that I think about it? I'm doing a speaking engagement at or tax presentation at the Urbana Library.
Okay.
It's February. Let me grab my number. But I think it's the last Saturday in February.
Okay.
And they'll send me some information. I think it's been on their calendar for a couple of weeks now. But it's when is it? I want to say it's the 24th, but I'll confirm that.
Okay.
They call me. They see my information on social media and the different posts and stuff that I receive on social media. Being Best of the Best on Frederick for 3 years in a
Absolutely.
row. So
Yes.
they reached out to me about that. And then other than that, that's really about it. I tend to do most of my events and speaking and stuff after tax season.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. And real quick, are you accepting new clients right now and virtual appointments?
So I do accept new clients typically up until about early March.
Okay.
Right. So anytime after that, I have to leave room for my current clientele to be able to still come
Absolutely.
out and get things done. But even if someone reaches out to me that's not a current client and they contact me sometime in March, I say if they really want to do an extension, we can do that, and then we can get everything done, post tax season.
Absolutely.
But I do accept virtual clients. Actually, on my website, which is actually, I've gotten a lot of comments about how nice my website is. But I'm in the process of getting it revamped too. So it's still up and live. It's just on the back end that's being revamped. But
Okay.
so I have on my website, I have a portal. So people can have the ability to upload documents safe and secure, because the IRS demands that we allow people to provide information safe and secure. And I've always done that, because the last thing I want you to do is email me your W-2 with your social on, right? So I have the portal to get you access to the portal. It's safe, secure, and encrypted. You can upload your documents. I have the ability to do Zoom. So right now I have clients in Florida, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oregon, California, like different states. So there's 41 states that require that you file a tax return. So I have clients of probably 12 different states.
Wonderful.
And that's outside of, us being West Virginia, Maryland, DC,
Okay.
PA, right? So
Okay, great. All right.
It's beautiful.
All right.
I enjoyed this conversation.
I did too.
I mean, I got to be
A toast.
around my
You
big
definitely gotta
sis
give
and
this
my
a toast.
Yes,
mentor.
well, I'm pouring up another.
Yeah.
Can
Let me
I
get-
do
I'll
one of
finish
those?
this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour.
Is it proper to toast
So
with water?
So I gotta check, because Raekwon is my man. So
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I get that. So
Absolutely.
I don't want to block the whole camera, but we'll put it right there.
Yep.
That's cool.
All right.
I mean,
It's
may
fine.
I-
Of course,
Anything got a cap on it, it's still
Yes,
good, right?
absolutely, of course.
I mean, I'll take the cap off.
Yeah.
Salute to the first
Yes.
Yes.
Sip.
BOBC, Colbert Ball and Tax.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.